E-learning is next, yes?
Kylie, you're up one last time.
Here we go. First thing on e-learning, Gina, thank you for catching my 11 o'clock, 11:59. Actually, I corrected that. It is 11:59 p.m. when students submit. So the e-learning plan comes from the reinstatement of the 5-hour school day that Pritzker signed into law. And with the reinstatement of that 5-hour school day, there is an allowance made for e-learning because the pilot program for e-learning in lieu of the 5 emergency days for snow, for weather, for emergency, worked out so well over the pilot years. It worked very well for us last year as well. So we have already done e-learning. So the one thing that I want to make sure I articulate to you is that everything in this plan that I am giving to you right now, more or less, we have already done. We have already checked all of these boxes, and our plan, again, thanks to Bridget Wilmot, was really solid, and we were able to execute e-learning days very well for our first 2 go-rounds. However, with the reinstatement of the 5-hour instructional day, there is some guidance now in the law that school districts have to have an approved e-learning plan approved by the intermediate service center that services them. So for us, that would be West 40. So when I first got here, Dr. Skinkus told me that getting me to serve on the West 40 board would be beneficial, and you all can probably guess that I hate saying that he was right, but in this small, very, very small case, he was, because with Mark Klasner being the director of West 40, I was able to shoot him an email that said, hey, Mark, can you give us some insight into how the ROEs are going to be looking at the e-learning plans? And like within a couple hours, absolutely, Kylie, here you go. So I was able to get a glimpse at the draft that the state of Illinois was going to use for how to evaluate these plans to check it against our plan. So the way that I put all of this together is truly sat with Mark's list and crossed it off. Okay, this is how we do this. And again, it was putting information that we already had for processes that we did last year on our e-learning days into a plan now that will be submitted to our West 40 ROE so that they can kind of give us the seal of approval. Of course, there is not information yet on when those submissions will take place or what that final tool is going to look like, but we were able to comply with having the public hearing, putting out the notice to all of our stakeholders, and then coming to the Board of Education and asking the Board of Education to adopt this plan for e-learning. Again, very similar to what we used last year. The one thing that we tweaked a little bit is there's a big portion of the law that speaks to equitable access to technology for students. And so we, the way the law reads, it talks about providing paper copies for students if they need it, adjusting deadlines for students who maybe I do have Wi-Fi, but there was a huge snowstorm and it got knocked out and I can't submit. So there's allowances in here for all of that. And we are looking to repurpose some of our Title I money to purchase Wi-Fi devices. So like a hotspot for some of our students who don't have internet access. And one thing that I have been saying, since looking into this is Wi-Fi access is not necessarily just an e-learning issue, it's an equity issue in general across the board. So this plan sort of helped us to realize how we could approach meeting that need for our students who might have that need, because we do want to give all of our students an equitable playing field while they're here at RB. So this plan, again, is simply we're checking a box, so to speak, because under the law now the Board of Education has to kind of stamp the seal of approval on our e-learning plan.
So we gave it to the board tonight as the first read. We do not receive any questions. Obviously, we did some of that last year. And so at the October 8th meeting, we will have a formal public hearing should anybody in the community want to come out, ask questions, or provide visitors' comments during the e-learning hearing, and hopefully the board will approve our e-learning plan, and then we have it in place in the event we need to use it this year.
Do we have anything on the web about that if we're having a public hearing? Do we have?
Yes, we publish it in the newspaper, we do it on the web.
And we sent, I had an email blast go to all families, students, and staff, because that's part of the law as well, how to communicate that out.
So you're using some of the Bright Bites data to inform the part, because there is a section of Bright Bites about access.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And we're going to, once we get this approved, we'll have an application process for people to be able to apply for that need-based support on devices. that we use the title money for.
Also interested in that.
Is there any other questions for Kylie? Kylie, thank you very much.
Nice
You did
job.
a great
Thank you.
job.
Thank you. A lot of
Thank you.
information.
Moving quickly, Dr. Skinner.
Not happy about the comment that you told yourself. We'll
Should I
talk
call
about
you?
that.
Should I call in sick tomorrow?
We'll talk about that tomorrow. Thank you, Kylie.
Thank you.
Matters for closed session?
Personnel, student discipline, purchase, sale, lease of real property, probable imminent or pending litigation, collective negotiations, and school safety.
Visitor statements? No? Seeing as there are none, we'll move on.